Well, this is going to be a little bit of a problem.
We stood Texas winds for years. One bad New Mexico.
This really kind of sucks. The hippie trap was with us for many years. But we've got a very strong windstorm rolling through, and it's just gone. It is torn to pieces. There is no saving this. So now we get to move fast before the rain shows up and get what we need to into the airstream, which isn't going to fall apart, I hope, and cover what we can't move in there with tarps. Well, just no getting around it. After that windstorm killed the hippie trap, and it killed it. There is no fixing it. We were using it as a storage shed temporarily, but that temporary time is now gone. On top of that, there's no avoiding this. This has been a problem every time I've lived rural. Trash. It's real easy if you have land and you're not worried about what your neighbors think to just sort of pile things up with oh, I'll throw that away later. Or, well, maybe I'll use that later. And then it starts getting out of hand. It was even easier to slip into this mindset when we got here because Eric left, not heaps of it, but he left stuff all over the place. So, this project, it's gonna be trash day. No, that was easy. This smoker that I've been using for the last year, I bought on sale when we first came out here. It is crap. This one should be much better. I can already tell that this smoker's gonna work so much better than that last one. The last one I had to fight it on like a 15-minute basis to keep it up at heat, to stabilize the heat. It didn't really circulate air properly for a smoker, which is kind of a fatal flaw for a smoker. This one, I was pretty surprised to see this online because it looked like a Brinkmann. The thing is, I'm pretty sure Brinkmann went out of business. And I had a Brinkmann smoker before, and it was just absolutely perfect. So today, while cleaning up the wreckage left by the windstorm, I'm going to also experiment with smoking some meat. Yeah, it's already up to heat. Like, that's crazy. Ugh, I won't have to fight anymore. Itty bitty tarantula.
Now it's underneath.
Woo! Well, they don't like the sun. Come on, little guy. Little girl. Get on there.
Yeah, definitely a baby.
Check out where it's hiding.
No sun. Sun is hot.
Get as close as you can. As you're comfy with. I'm under the shovel! Okay. Hey, Tuna, do you want to help us load the dumpster with trash? Yeah? Apparently not. It is a nice day. We already started throwing things in the gigantic dumpster. And one of the things that we tackled today was the hot tub. See, right next to the porch, Eric had this hot tub. Nobody ever remembers him using it or filling it. And I thought I drained it last fall. Eric had been putting trash in it, and I won't deny we were a little guilty of this too, because it was right next to the porch, and we had some big boxes and what have you, and we threw it in. It also had a plywood cover that he had cobbled together. So today we discovered the hot tub was not drained. This is after we cleaned all the major bulky trash out of it and drained it as much as we possibly can with a siphon hose and the outflow drain spigot. I do not want to describe the scent of what is still remaining. It's basically rotted cardboard, a lot of rotted cardboard and leaves with a few chunks of styrofoam still in it. It's been an ordeal today to clean this thing out because our neighbor says he wants the hot tub, and we've told him you have till Sunday to get it. Because if he has not gotten it by Sunday afternoon, I am taking a Sawzall to this thing and just throwing it in the dumpster we rented. I will be draining the last of that out with a shop vac and dumping this liquid compost onto various plants because I'm sure they'll love it. Oh my god. This stench is so bad. Oh my god. Like, this just stinks. Oh my god. Oh, it's just liquid compost. Oh, dear god. Yeah, who wants a bite of that? Oh my god. Amber, rustling all the cardboard boxes, I assume because you don't like spiders. Okay. I mean, that's legit.
Or snakes.
Yeah, there's that. As the sun sets, the giant pile O boxes has been removed, and I think you can see a bunch of the detritus of the hippie trap has now been dumpstered or given away. God, we still have so much more to do in the next 48 hours. But we can get it done. Waiting for the sun to set so we can continue throwing garbage in that giant dumpster. Tomorrow we're going to have some friends over who can help. And I, for the first time since the year 2000, I'm going to attempt making borscht. You might know it as borscht. It is a Russian/Ukrainian. Please don't get mad at me, people from Ukraine. I know that you claim to be where it was first invented, but I was taught by a Georgian, and I realized I hadn't made it in almost, I hadn't made it in 26 years, and it's really good. So some of this video may actually just have a recipe for what I'm going to call New Mexico borscht. До свидания. All right, so we're going to make some borscht. First, I'm going to oil up the pan a little bit. So the very important part that I've seen a lot of recipes leave out. You can take your beef shank, That one's got a fair amount of marbling, good fat layer, big old bone in the middle. And the thing you really want to do, you put some salt on it first. I do not know why this is almost never in the recipes, but when you get your smoked paprika, you're going to absolutely slather it on both sides. You do not have to do the fat on the side because that's mostly going to melt off. But you want to put a ton of paprika on your beef. So salt, paprika, maybe a bit of black pepper. Now, we're going to absolutely sear this. You want to make sure that you sear both sides, like really sear them. You want to get a little bit of a seared crust of the spice on the meat. Damn it. Once you got your seared beef shank, throw that in a pressure cooker or a crock pot. This can also be done with a Dutch oven or even just a large stew pot. The way I was taught, originally the dude said you use water. Personally, I prefer using just some basic generic beef stock. Just 32 ounces of it. And I also like to get just 2 whole garlic cloves for the stock. You can cut them in half, but you don't have to. Because this is about to cook like crazy. And a couple of bay leaves. This one is definitely a taste thing, but I usually throw in about yay many black peppercorns. And then we're going to add just enough water to submerge the beef shank. You don't want to drown it. I've seen people who make their stock with way too much water. You want a very, very rich, flavorful broth, and you're going to be adding more water later. There. Okay. Now it is time. In this case, I'm going to pressure cook it. Medium. Stew. Okay. We'll come back to that in 2 hours. After about 2 hours of pressure cooking, the beef itself should be literally just falling to pieces. This broth actually didn't come out super fatty, and there's no fat scum. If you're doing borscht and there is the fat foam, the fat scum at the top, just take it out with a spoon. All right. It is important to make sure that you've slow cooked it enough that the marrow has fallen out into the broth. It's a big part of the flavor of this stew. So the difference between a lot of the Russian recipes and even the Ukraine recipes that I've seen for this dish, this was very specifically an ad that a friend of mine from the state of Georgia, the country of Georgia, a turnip. You're gonna want, for this amount, you're gonna want some potatoes. We're gonna chunk them up, and we're gonna slice fairly thin, almost like you're making French fries, a turnip. And next up, we're going to do some white onion. I'm going to use a whole one. The carrots, you can use just a large carrot and grate it yourself. I'm lazy. I just buy it fresh grated. I'm going to use about half the bag of carrot. Done. This is the step that I was told is absolutely crucial to making borscht properly. You need your beets fresh, not canned, and your cabbage fresh, but you are not going to cook them in the crock pot with the rest of the soup. We're going to slice this up, and just for time's sake and what have you, I'm not going to show it, but I'm going to slice these up very fine and put them in a saucepan with a little bit of broth, some garlic, and some black pepper. We're just going to let those stew on extremely low heat for about an hour or two. I did not record the majority of like assembling the simmered beets and cabbage into the soup and then how to cook it after that, but I think this turned out all right. I'm about to serve it to the gals. Some broth. And the thing that really makes borscht pop is you gotta put some sour cream. I do not have fresh parsley, but we do have fresh green onions from our garden.
It looks pretty.
Another bowl for the Heather.
Looks pretty.
Didn't turn out as red as I'm used to. I think I should have used more beets, but
Or more paprika.
no, there is so much paprika in this. Heather is a baker and made a beautiful rye loaf to go with it.
A beet.
Because, as I was just saying, half of borscht is the bread you serve it with.
It is beet
Oh,
rye.
look at that. Look at that. And she did make some
Caraway
seasoned
seeds.
butters.
So pretty. Look at that.
That is actually really pretty.
Lovely.
Is there going to be a marble inside or not?
A what?
A marble.
I have no idea
Let's
how
see.
this is
Let's
gonna
see.
Not really.
Not really.
You can see a couple swirls, but
It's all good.
molasses did not really get into the dough too well, so.
Okay. After working our butts off, that's about all that's left of the hippie trap. And we have filled this dumpster up a lot. I did contact the neighbor about this hot tub. He said he was going to be over today to pick it up. I'm just resigning myself to tomorrow. I'm going to have to grab the Sawzall and just carve it up into pieces to go in the dumpster. Weirdly, not the first time I've had to do this with a hot tub. Probably the biggest concern that we had was there was a hot tub here that, as far as you could tell, it didn't have power to it, and it definitely hadn't been used in years and years. And also, we have zero need for a hot tub. So, offered to give it to the neighbor. He didn't come by and get it for a little bit. And then today, right when I was starting to demo it, he texted us literally like the moment I started hitting it and said, hey, I'm going to come get the hot tub. Turns out Tony was a lot stronger than he looks. I helped him, but honestly, I was not doing the heavy lifting. That dude basically tipped a 900-pound hot tub on its side by himself, and then I helped him wrangle it into the truck, and away it went. fuck.
Sayonara, old ass nasty hot tub. Now let's hope it doesn't fall off.
So now we got a little nook here that we're deciding what we're going to do with it. I think a workbench and a garden workbench, that kind of thing. That should be fun. Why do I have two pairs of sunglasses on? I think you can see the front yard looks a lot better because we got rid of a bunch of stuff there. And the backyard, we did this right. Amber and I paced ourselves, time to this. We made sure that we would have as much done as possible while we had this dumpster. Ugh. It's like half full, not a big deal. But I think you can see there was a bunch of this that we needed to throw away that would not fit in our cars and would not be easy to take to the dump. All in all, a pretty darn productive weekend. World's still crazy. Everyone be cool. Just a word about the hippie trap. I went back and checked, and it was about 11 years old. It was purchased by our burn theme camp back in 2015. And it wasn't just a structure. It was as much a feature and member of our camp as any person was. We decorated it every year and furnished it. Lights, a DJ booth, places for people to come sit. The decor changed every year, but we usually had lasers and fog machines and lights and a big old sound system. Setting it up every year, the moment it was set up and lit up and activated, really felt like we'd really just arrived that year for the festival. It survived multiple different festivals where it had ice storms, it had rainstorms. In one, it literally withstood 80 mile per hour recorded wind gusts, and it was fine. But all things come to an end. And it looks like the New Mexico sun mixed with New Mexico windstorms was too much for the old hippie trap. So, end of an era, I guess. Good times, though.
It was a long road. It was a long drive here.
Y'all,
Thank y'all for doing that.
Dude,
we have not even finished setting up the hippie trap, and this is what the ceiling looks like right now.
I had energy to
Like,
bounce out.
y'all,
Bounce.
I can't even.